Hey everybody, this is John Scarborough. Wanted to make a little video on mineral trough and what you can do with your mineral trough. This is a spot where the mineral trough has been here for longer than I typically like to leave it. I am not a big fan of seeing a big bare spot around a mineral trough. In this particular case, this was actually done on purpose on my part. This spot right here does not have a lot of grass. Right in here, it's mostly weeds, and it's very, very bumpy, rough ground. There's a lot of old stumps. Most of them are rotten, but there's a lot of old stumps in it, a lot of stump holes out in here, and it's really rough in this area. So right across the top of this little mound here, you can see on the other side of that, we actually have some swales in there where the water stops, slows the water down. But up here, I mean, on the other side of it is very, very rough. So what I'm actually doing here is implementing the use of my mineral trough here. Your mineral trough is always going to be a magnet. Your mineral trough and your water trough, they're always going to be a magnet for your cattle. That and then anything that provides them shade, those are going to be magnets. So anywhere you put it, there's going to be heavy impact. Most of the time, I suggest moving your mineral trough every day or at least every other day, pretty often, to make sure you never have a bare spot at all. I mean, when I move my mineral trough, I want it to look like this. I want it to be complete grass and it didn't tear up any of the grass out there. But your mineral trough, there's going to be a lot of manure distribution around your mineral trough, and a cow poops out about 80% of its mineral, depending on what mineral you're giving them. They poop out about 80% of that mineral. So that mineral actually gets back in your ground and becomes a mineral. It starts replenishing the minerals in your soil, which can actually lead to new grass growth, because a lot of what is in commercial fertilizer is minerals. Now, it's not just minerals, we all know that, but they actually do put a lot of fortified minerals in your commercial litter. I mean, your commercial fertilizer. So by remineralizing your field, you actually do help promote grass growth. So by putting your mineral trough up higher on a hill, it's higher up on this hill, it's not all the way down, you allow through the rainy season, you allow those minerals and all of that manure to slowly spread out down the hill. So typically we wouldn't do this because we wouldn't want to cause any washouts, and we definitely don't want to kill off any good grasses. But there were very little grasses here. So in this case, the reason we did this, we knew that it was a magnet, so we're putting it up here and we're dragging it across to smooth the ground out. So we're actually intentionally letting them tear the ground up and tear into the root structure, kind of like if you were to run a hog over this. We're letting the hoof of the cow do that, and so it's actually smoothing out places like this. It's kind of hard to pick up on camera. This is a pretty good little old knob here, and so like over here, this spot right here where they were, it was really bumpy, and we actually smoothed it out by putting that mineral trough over here. So after the mineral trough is moved, then we can roll a bale of hay out over it to keep it from, to keep any grass from getting, like any soil from just washing away, to hold the soil in. So first, we're putting the mineral trough there. We're kind of massaging the soil aggressively, very aggressively, and smoothing the soil out aggressively. Then we put a bale back over it to seed new grass, to fertilize it, and to put and to hold the ground together so we don't wash out. Otherwise, we'd end up with a washout there, and we don't want to do that. So if you do use a technique like this, where you do get bare soil, make sure you cover it back up, because bare soil actually leaks carbon from your soil. You don't want carbon being leaked from your soil. You want all that carbon in your soil. Carbon is a farmer's best friend. No matter what you farm, carbon is your best friend. It holds nutrients and it holds moisture in your ground. So cover that back up. Don't leave that bare. But you can use this as a tool with your mineral trough. Now it's It's a slow going tool. It's not something that's going to happen all the time, but you have to move your mineral trough anyway. So you may as well use it strategically. So take a look over here. Like you can see, I got these really deep holes right in here. I don't know how well the camera can pick that up, but my foot can go into that and I break an ankle, you know. So this is just smoothing out these little knobs in here and killing off some of these weeds, because this kind of stuff, that goat weed there, we want to make sure we kill off those root structures. Well, we can trample that into the soil and get good organic matter. And you can see like this right here, there is all kinds of these stumps that are just all out in here. So we're just moving our mineral trough along. This is a mineral trough that was actually on this property. The last guy that had it, he never took it off. He probably will come back and get it, but we're using it because it's here. It's easier than going to get ours across the road, so we're using it. We are using our hitch that I came up with. It works very nicely. Excuse the loud sound of the four-wheeler. Well, I say it works nicely. Yep, comes right out of there. It works very good. I absolutely love it. I have to move stuff all the time with my four-wheeler, so I really like that hitch right there. I've actually made a video on that hitch I'll be posting here shortly. So anyway, just wanted to talk about that. Like you can see over here in areas like this where it's really it's got a pretty good hole right here. You can tell that's a stump. Like that's an old stump. This is a stump hole. There's holes like that all out in here. So just by kind of giving some thought as to where to put your mineral trough, you can help smooth out a lot of areas like this. Now I don't want to, you notice I moved pretty good ways. I didn't want to just make a big, just keep on continuously putting that there. If it was worse than this and rougher than what it is, I would go ahead and do that. But in this case, I'll probably just skip it kind of back and forth. Mostly I don't want to roll my hay out right there and then have my mineral trough over here, you know. So I'm kind of spreading it out a little bit. But anyway, be mindful of that. Put your mineral trough in places, you know, you've got to move it all the time anyway. So put it in places that it can do you some good. The cow's hooves will work for you instead of you doing all the work. So anyway, thanks everybody. Have a good day.